Hello, this is Paranormal Girl, and today I would like to talk about the Jinn. Jinn tales of wishmasters throughout time. In translation, the term Jinn can be interpreted as hidden from sight or the hidden ones. In Arabic, Jinn defines a collective number and it derives from the root Jinn or Jinn, which means to hide or to be hidden, thus implying the fact that Jinn are not necessarily spirits, but they are hidden in their status in time, in space, and in darkness. Etymology of the word Jinn. From the same root, the word Ghana is also derived, which refers to another place hidden in space and time, the Garden of Paradise. In English, the genie is a synonym of Jinn, which is derived from the Latin genius, which used to refer to a sort of protective spirit which each human was thought to have ever since the moment of birth. The only resemblance between the two is the pronunciation of Jinn and genius, and are totally distinct entities. From the Latin genus, the modern term genetics is derived with a certain resemblance to jinn, as entities believed to be capable of determining familiar features of resemblance. In Arabic, the similar for genie or jinn or genie, while the plural is jinn. Jinns and precious stones. Like many other beings, jinn can be either male or female. Also, jinn can exist independently, or they can attach themselves to inanimate objects, especially old objects in which they can reside and together in which they can travel. For example, it was believed that the jinn could become attached to a precious or semi-precious stones such as opals. In the Middle East, archaeologists have found evidence from the pre-Islamic era which suggested that during that time there was no clear distinction between spirits inferior to angels and jinn. In northwest Arabia, archaeological evidence has also clearly suggested that the worship of jinn. In a region near Palmyra, an unearthed inscription called Jinn, the good and rewarding gods, but despite all archaeological evidence regarding jinn worship, the Quran rejects this practice, arguing that Allah is the only one who is to be revered and worshipped. Jinn in Arabian Nights and the Quran. Jinn are most commonly known from the tales contained in Arabian Nights, a writing which illustrates several kinds of jinn and spirits. According to the text, numerous spirits and entities exist alongside humans, and they interact between one another just as they interact with humans. Out of all these entities, the type of jinn known as the Ifrit is described as physically larger than the rest, as well as the most powerful. Another kind of jinn, the Marid, is said to live in seas and oceans as the spirit of water. As the most well-known supernatural beings of the Islamic tradition, jinn are often mentioned in the Quran. They reside in the void between worlds, a parallel dimension different from the world of humans or from any world known. Even though angels, humans, and jinn are three types of sentient beings created by Allah, the latter is the most mysterious. The information regarding them is scarce, but it is said that they have come into being from the smokeless flame, and that they can be good, evil, or neutral. Still, jinn can be dangerous and hostile towards humans, using every chance they get to twist the words and desires of humans against them. The Surat al-Jinn is a surah contained in the 72nd chapter of the Quran, which is dedicated entirely to jinn. Jinn are also mentioned in the Quran, in the final verse of the Surat al-Nas. But the classic image of Jinn, or wishmasters, were first depicted in the Arabian Nights. Contrary to angels, but similar to humans, Jinn enjoy free will. Therefore, they can make their own choices, and they can also allegedly be judged during Judgment Day and sent to either heaven or hell. Jinn usually live in highly remote areas with clouds, waters, trees, and mountains. They traditionally are said to live in their own communities, and their existence can remain secret as they are able to travel over great distances extremely quickly. Also, Jinn can make themselves invisible to the eyes of humans. Because of all of this, stories say that humans can only get small, vague, and unclear glimpses of the existence of Jinn without fully perceiving their reality. From Jinn to devil. It is said that after Allah created man, he asked the angels and the Jinn to bow before Adam. At that time, one Jinn exerted his free will and chose to disobey the Creator. He was Iblis. For his disobedience, he was banished from paradise, and he became the devil, under the name of Shaitan. This change caused Allah and sent prophets in both human and jinn alike in order to provide good counsel and show the righteous path. In this way, Muhammad was but one of the prophets and messengers. One of the differences between Christianity and Islam is that the Bible constitutes the word God sent through the apostles, while the Quran is considered to be the word of Allah itself. As depicted in the Quran, the Iblis gained Allah's favor through his devotion and was granted command over the order of angels. However, even though he had obtained a rank similar to that of the angels, and just as the angels, he had to listen and obey to Allah's orders, the Iblis refused to bow before Adam while stating, "I am better than he. Thou didst create me from fire and him from clay." Until Qiyamah, Judgment Day, Allah in his mercy postponed the destruction of the Iblis and turned Shaitan. As for devils, the Islamic tradition states, "We made the evil ones friends only to those without faith." And that's Quran 7:27. In Christianity, Lucifer, an angel, became Satan, the devil. In Islam, Iblis, a jinn, became Shaitan, the devil. The power of Shaitan. When it comes to the power of Shaitan over men, there are two main aspects which he can exploit. The first is hubris, which constitutes extreme pride and arrogance. The second is influence, which means that Shaitan can whisper and instigate people to do evil. But it is up to each human to decide whether he wishes to follow the suggested evil path or not. In this way, Shaitan lacks any kind of direct means of control over the lives of humans. His power rests merely at the level of suggestion, balanced by the possibility of choice that is provided by free will. Partly this explains why the name Iblis, coming from the root balasa, means he who causes despair. In addition, the Quran argues that devils and evil jinn were created to help sorcerers who are, from a spiritual point of view, very far from Allah. Supposedly, sorcerers can invoke these entities, force them into obedience through special rituals, and then send them out to accomplish tasks set by the sorcerer himself, or by those paying for his services. And there is a lot more to read on this subject, and I will leave links in the description.